Western boxing is way more dangerous than Muay Thai. Find out why in this video. So you might think, Muay Thai, that's the art of the 8 limbs. I can hit someone with my elbow, both fists, my legs, my knees. How on earth is that less dangerous than Western boxing? Well, a couple things you have to realize. For one, professional bouts. Western boxing is 12 rounds of 3 minutes. So that's 36 minutes of carnage where you're constantly getting hit to the head. Because you have to remember, what makes Muay Thai more damaging, less damaging than boxing is because the damage is spread all over your body. So checking a kick is when, boom, you raise your shin up. So the other person's shin connects with your strong side of your shin. So you block the kick. So, this naturally you have a way to defend your torso. And also, obviously, you can leg kick in Muay Thai, you can hit to the below the belt and the face, whereas in boxing, predominantly most of your time is going to be spent hitting someone in the face and in the stomach. And you do realize that even with liver shots, you can actually die from them. So boxing is a lot more dangerous than Muay Thai, simply because boxing has a lot more rounds of 36 minutes in total, whereas a normal Muay Thai bout is 5 rounds of 5 minutes. What is going on, guys? It's Dylan, aka the Combat Sports Guy. This channel is going to have everything combat sports related. So if this sounds like something you're interested in, please like and subscribe and comment down below any other questions you want answered. We're going to do videos every Monday and Friday. Okay, back to the video. So to really talk about why Muay Thai isn't that dangerous, we have to speak in 3 different categories of a Muay Thai practitioner, because there's going to be different people. There's going to be the guy or girl who goes Muay Thai on a casual basis, maybe once or twice a week, maybe doesn't spar, just hits the pads a couple times. Then we're going to have someone who's a little bit more intermediate, so an interclub level, so someone like me. So this is someone who's going to go to interclubs, which is basically sparring where one gym will fight another gym and have, not necessarily competitive sparring, but sparring that's not judged. And then lastly, you're going to have the professionals, and these are the people who Muay Thai is going to be the most dangerous, because say when you're past a C-class fight, you can use elbows, and as we know, elbows are one of the most damaging and dangerous weapons in the Muay Thai arsenal, because not only can you easily knock out the other person, you can easily break your elbow bone too. So it's different categories. So we have to split up. When you're a normal beginner, a Muay Thai practitioner, all you're really gonna do is, in your warm-up, you're gonna skip a couple times, you're gonna get the blood pumping, and you're gonna maybe hit Thai pads. And if you want to receive a review of one of the best bargain Thai pads, please check my other channel and my friend's channel down in the link below. But so basically, the most likely injury risk you're gonna get from that is probably hurt feet, because you're not gonna kick correctly. So as a beginner, you're more likely not going to kick correctly and turn your hip in. So this is going to have swollen feet and just stuff like that. But you're not going to get hurt too much. It will just be a bit painful. But it depends where you kick, because most of the time you're going to kick someone in the elbow instead of the stomach, because when your shin's not hitting in, you know what I mean? Like, I remember when I was starting off, my feet were hurting all the time simply because I was smacking someone with the foot instead of the shin. And that brings me to the shin. So bruised shins are going to be super common. Ask any Muay Thai practitioner, or even look at their shins, and you're going to see bruises along the bone. Simply because, in Muay Thai, the strongest part of your foot, or your leg, is your shin. So you want to, hit that shin, you want to smack them with the shin, and this is obviously going to affect the nerves on both sides of the shin. Like, for example, because I'm right-footed, my right side of my legs are a lot more conditioned than my left. And one of the best ways you can condition your shins, you hit the heavy bag. If you're sparring, which is fighting someone, the worst injuries I've ever got is when my coach hit me good in the chin and I got a laceration, like a cut, like blood. I remember when I was clinching with my friend, and I didn't realize, we didn't know whose blood it was, but it was actually my blood, because my chin was cut. But all you're gonna get is, you might feel a bit dizzy afterwards, maybe some minor brain damage, baby brain damage. But it's not gonna be too damaging. Like, usually, if you spar with good intensity, with 10 to 30% of your effort, you're not really gonna get injured too much. And if you wanna see how Jiu-Jitsu, BJJ, compares with Muay Thai and how dangerous it is, please check my video in this link. More detailed information of the different sort of injuries you get in Muay Thai, please check my post on if Muay Thai is dangerous down in the pinned comment down below. But yeah, if you're sparring, you might get, you could maybe break, like, if you're wearing the appropriate mouth guard, or if you're not wearing a mouth guard, then you could get like torn teeth, lacerations, cuts in the teeth. But really and truly, if you're sparring at 10 to 30%, you're not likely to break any bones in comparison to jiu-jitsu, just because of the random nature of jiu-jitsu. You're a lot more likely to get hurt, I think, because there's stuff you can't control. Like if we're wrestling right now, boom, I take you down. Who knows, I could, because of the weight, the coming down, because of the level change, I could put a lot more weight on my ankle, whatever, and I could get hurt. Like, actually remember, one of the worst injuries I got from Muay Thai was like an ankle sprain. And this is when someone trips, when my coach tripped me and I resisted the trip. Obviously it put a lot more weight on my ankle and it really was painful and it's not appealing, But whether Muay Thai is dangerous, I wouldn't say it's dangerous per se. As similar to the other point, when you compare it to boxing, in Muay Thai, one big part is the clinch. If you don't know what the clinch is essentially standing wrestling, where it's basically wrestling, just not below the belt. So you can actually pick someone up, trip them up in Muay Thai, no problem. And this nature of scoring points when you bring someone to the ground that boxing doesn't have. Like in boxing, the only way you can score points is punch a man in the face and punch a man in the stomach. And trying to hurt the other person. In Muay Thai, you can, same sort of thing with kicking and punching and elbows and knees, but getting someone to the ground scores a lot of points. So there's other ways you can score without intrinsically hurting the other person. But where Muay Thai is very dangerous is obviously when you're fighting professionally. So if you ever see fights in Thailand or professional fights, I'm not sure what the class is, maybe BA class in the UK, then at this level, when you can use all your weapons, your elbows, your knees, and there's no, you're not sparring 20 to 30%, you're sparring to knock the other guy or girl out. At this level, of course, there can be injuries. Of course, you could, break your shin, break your foot, break your elbow. There's many, many different things that can happen. But I think for a casual Muay Thai goer who just goes to the gym 2, 3, 4 times a week, it's not really that dangerous. Like, honestly, even if you compare the casual Muay Thai goer, even someone like me, I think something like soccer, football, or in the UK or American football is a lot more dangerous. Even something like basketball, because you got to think, in basketball, boom, you're dribbling, you're trying to get the ball in the hole, and then if something happens and there's an alteration, bang, you could fall in the ground, break your lower back, become paralyzed, what have you. Basketball is reasonably dangerous. Soccer as well, it's reasonably dangerous. Just these sports when there's a lot of movement and you're jumping up, something can happen. Whereas in Muay Thai, it's very, static. You're in control of what's happening more or less. So if I had to summarize, Muay Thai is not that dangerous. It depends on what you're doing. At the highest level, obviously it's dangerous simply because you're trying to actually hurt the other person in the most beautiful way possible. Whereas at the lower level or intermediate level, I honestly think soccer, football, basketball, all these things are a lot more dangerous. So if this sounds like sort of content you like, please like and subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate it. This is Dylan from Combat Sports Guy signing out. Peace.